Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Pashchadi Shatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much for coming. Without students, a teacher's life has no meaning. So today is the 11th of July, it's Friday, and this is the day we devote to the systematic study of the Bhagavad Gita. Okay. And the first thing we do is recite together the slokas of the Gita Mahatmya that Prabhupada includes. Did you all get that? Did you get the Gita Mahatmya? Okay, let's make sure everybody gets that. Prabhupada includes these slokas at the conclusion of the introduction of his Bhagavad Gita as it is. And since the introduction is what we're focusing on today, as we started to study last time. Okay, Prabhu, we'll let you pass all those around. Okay, thank you. Recitation of the Gita Mahatmya is a very, very wonderful reminder of the benefits of what we're doing. We always need to be reminded of the value for our spiritual life of regular study of the Bhagavad Gita. And by reading this Gita Mahatmya, which is the way we start our classes, we're reminded that it's beneficial and we should make it a regular practice. A regular practice, okay? So, we always explain our process for guests and newcomers. And we'll take a moment before we start this to just let everybody again write names on slates, because we do have some guests whom I may know, but others may not know. And sometimes visitors that are here for maybe just the second time rather than the first. So, to stress the importance of personalism in our spiritual life rather than impersonalism, we write our names, because impersonal means I don't know the person next to me and I don't bother to find out, maybe, right? Either out of shyness or perhaps worse, indifference. So write your name in block print if possible, and large, and then when you hold it up you say your name so everybody can hear it. We do 4 things in here. Damini knows. What do we do in here? What are the 4 things we do? Did you all say that? Hear that? What did we do? We see? Right. And we do that because it helps us remember. Right? Very good. So would you hold up your board? And he is Dina Nath, right? Can you see it? It helps. Dina Nath. Very good. And next to him is Radhika Priya. Okay, and then we say Dina Nath, Radhika Priya, and next to her is Bharati. So these yo-yo practices, we get faster and faster. Dina Nath, Radhika Priya, Bharati, and Indulekha. Everybody say it? Indulekha. Dinanath, Radhika Priya, Bharati, Indulekha, and everybody say? Brahmani. What a nice name. You won't believe it, I forgot your second missed call. I just got, anyway, I'm glad you came. My life is just a little out of balance. Dinanath, Radhika Priya, Bharati, Indulekha, and Brahmani. And the trick to practice means make speed the goal. That makes your mind sharp. Okay, an old friend, obviously I've known her since her little girl was 4. Shama Manjari, what's her name? Shama Manjari, old friend. So that must be going back 11 years now, since she was 4, right, or 5, or however old she was. Okay, Dinanath, Radhika Priya, Bharati, Indulekha, Brahmani. Shama Manjari, and her daughter, Malini. Nice and big. Can you see it? Can you all see it? Malini. Malini. Okay, this is our Sanskrit test now. That's how they do Sanskrit drills. Dinanath, Radhika Priya, Bharati, Indulekha, Brahmani, Shama Manjari, Malini, and our photographer, cameraman over here is Anand Mohan, right? Anand Mohan. Very good. Anand Mohan. Okay, one more time. Let's go around. Dinanath, Radhika Priya, Bharati, Indulekha, Brahmani, Shama Manjari, Malini, and Anand Mohan. Okay, now from this point we'll just do 4 because we don't want to get it too long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is about the max you should try. This is a law. These are statistics. If it gets to be more than that, it's too much. So now our chunking philosophy. We take another group here on the right of the cameraman. And this is, we'll just do this section now. This is Damini. Who's that? Damini. She's from Mayapur and she's here studying Spalding. So she can go back and help more 4-year-olds. Okay. Next to her is Govinda Kun. Govinda Kun, such a nice name. Damini and Govinda Kun. And this is Neela Lakshmi. Okay, Damini, Govinda Kun, Neela Lakshmi. And back here is Gopi. Gopi Sudarshan. She's a school teacher. Morning till night. And I didn't realize that she's teaching the senior class in English. I thought she had the little ones. She came to my room last night to look up about Gur Pranim. How did it go? Did you talk about it today? Did it go nicely? Good girl. Okay, so Damini, Govinda Kun, Neela Lakshmi, and Gopi. And will Rasamrita be coming today, or she's not coming? She's not feeling well today. Okay. All right, so are we ready to start? Okay. Let us take now our Gita Mahamya. And we stress here all of our study skills as we do our processes. Our first study skill is to put the little finger up, the small right hand index, little pinky. This is our cursor, our guide, so we can focus, okay? And when we slide it under the text, our mind is fixed on the point. Fixing the mind is the essence of yoga. It's actually the essence of speed reading. 2 things. Because your mind will wander, but your hand keeps it focused. And the other skill that we employ is to compress the text to 1 word if possible, okay? Or important words. So here we have 7 slokas and we have 7 key words. There may not be the exact words here, but they give us the flow. Okay? So the first word is go. Go. And the second word is stop. Second sloka, the key word is stop. And the third sloka is wash. Okay, so we go, stop, wash. And then the fourth sloka, the key word is read. Okay, now we add 1. Go, stop, wash, read. And our 5th key word from the 5th sloka is never. Okay? Now you see these tend to stick, and then when you go back to fill in the points, we call these our memory link words. Then the rest of the text sticks like a magnet to the key word. So we go, stop, wash, read, never, and the 6th key word is drink. Drink. Okay? Now we're going to go through one more time and add the last word out of the 7. Go, stop, wash, read, never, drink, and the last one is serve. Seva, serve. Okay. So this is also a motivation skill. After people have heard a word, they want to know, hopefully, more, right? You agree, Shama? You want to know what's go, stop, read, never, drink. Maybe it doesn't make any sense. So you're curious? Good. It'll help you be eager to read the sloka. All right, so I recite and then you repeat, kirtan style. The exact word in this one is not go, but it's achieve. Sometimes we pick a simpler word, okay? One who recites this holy scripture. The Bhagavad Gita achieves the abode of Vishnu. So that's where we go. Vishnu, okay? And here's what it's like there, which is always free from the mundane qualities based on fear and lamentation. Now check your study partners to be sure they're employing the skills. Is everybody using the little finger? Okay, you two are study buddies. Because we're not habituated to doing this. Right? We're not used to doing this. We gave it up after the age of 4 or 5. We have to take it up again at 45, 55, 65. Because have you noticed it helps you concentrate? Those who are used to doing it are in agreement, right? It helps. Okay? So if you go to Vishnu's abode, guess what? You're not faced with fear or lamentation. Those are concomitant with material energy. Text 2. Let's find out what stops. What do we stop? One who is regularly engaged in the study of Bhagavad Gita and the practice of pranayama is never affected by the reactions of his past misdeeds. So what are we stopping? Karma, yes. And notice the word was study of Bhagavad Gita. It just doesn't say reading, right? Study and reading are two different things. Text 3. What are we going to wash? By daily taking a bath in water, one may cleanse himself from impurities. But if one takes a bath even once in the sacred water of Bhagavad Gita, for him the dirt of material life is altogether vanquished. So we're going to wash the dirt of material life. That sounds like a good thing. His body means we have contaminations from the 3 modes. They have to be scrubbed away. And the Bhagavad Gita is the way to do it. Text 4. Now let's see how we read the Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is meant for careful recitation. And then this looks like it's missing a word. And then there's this one's missing a word. There is no need for any other scripture. Because it has directly emanated from the lotus mouth of the Supreme Lord. I'll make it this one, because this one was a retyping. Let's see this one. Now you're going to turn it over to text 5, and the word was never. Let's see what never had to do with text 5. By drinking the Ganges water of the Gita, the divine quintessence of the Mahabharata, emanating from Lord Vishnu's lotus mouth, one will never again take birth in the material world. Everybody like that idea? Text 6, now drink. Let's see what that has to do. All the Upanishads are compared to a cow. And the milkman is Sri Krishna, the son of Nanda. Arjuna is the calf. The great nectar of the Bhagavad Gita is the milk. And the fortunate devotees, the fine theistic intellect, I love that line. That's who you all are. Your intellect is fine and it's theistic. Because there are 2 kinds of people, theists and atheists. And Prabhupada, I was listening to him, he said, if one does not have faith in the scriptures, or if one doesn't follow them, he's atheist. Very, very simple. You have to have faith in them and follow them. That is a theist. They are enjoyers of that milk. Yes. Okay, so you're all enjoyers of the Gita. Text 7. Now we will say thank you to Krishna. He's giving us 6 wonderful gifts, so we say thank you in the 7th sloka. There need be only one scripture. Sri Krishna's divine Gita. Only one Lord. That same Krishna. The son of Devaki. Only one mantra. The chanting of his holy names. And only one duty. Devotional service unto that Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Very good. So the whole point of the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada emphasizes, you're not the body, and your duty is devotional service to Krishna. He's the Lord, you're his servant, and your eternal duty is loving devotional service to him. That's the whole point of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, everybody doing fine? So you want to pass this around then? Collect them? And then they can all be put back in that folder. Okay. You want to give to him too? You didn't have a... Okay. If you have some that are loose, I'll take those and pack them later. Okay. Some that were taken out of the packet. Okay. That way you can just... Okay. All right. Now, if you'll take out your magic slates, we're going to go over the code for study of the purport. Introduction to Bhagavad Gita is a 48-page purport. Big. And it's from a lecture that was delivered very early in the movement, I think 1966. It's amazing how at the very beginning, Prabhupada said everything. He really didn't miss the chance. He knew his time was limited in what he had to do. He was old and, up in years. And he had to get this movement started. So from the very beginning, he was preaching the philosophy. If you go back to even the early lectures, are they not? They're amazing. Just speaking them to people who didn't know a thing about Krishna, about bhakti, about devotional service, Vrindavan, nothing. But he never wavered from the truth. So we'll see as we read this purport today. But reading is one thing, and studying is another. And our emphasis this time through the Gita is to use the codes for study of purports. Because it is the purports that unlock the realizations of the spiritual master and the previous acharyas. Otherwise, for us, the texts, if you agree, have you ever just read the text? You need to as devotees, but without those purports, we wouldn't really understand those texts. Everybody agree for that? Yeah, it's a mystery. That's why so many Gitas don't make devotees, because they're not, the purports aren't by authorized personalities. Prabhupada said none of them are. Gita as it is. So here's our code. This is our code for study. Okay? We gave these points last time, so on your slate, let's write them again. And this is your study code. Any purport you get. Okay? Are you curious about this, Shama? Because Shama always likes purports, right? You want to know the secret now? Okay, this is your study secret. In books on speed reading, what the author will tell you is that the secret to reading is to be, first of all, active. What's the word? Active. You don't just sort of sit there and let your eyes move over the print. Active means you have to think. What does active mean? You have to think. Because it is, how many of you have ever read something at the end of the page, your mind was somewhere else? Raise your hand if that has happened. Very easy. Because we have so many things that we have to do. And we're trying to do the, read the books or read something. But then after the end of the page, you realize, my mind was, that happens in japa too. Anybody agree? You go around a whole ring and then you say, wait a minute, where was I? Or did I really finish that round, or should I move? I better not move a bead, I better do it again. No, it didn't count. So you must be active. And then active means think. Then he says, you think the way the author writes. How do you think? The way the author writes. Because if an author has made it to the publishing stage and he knows what he's doing, he has studied what's called process writing. What does he study? Process writing. There's a process to it, and there are formulas. And he knows them. And, I'm going to ask you a favor. If you're pressing in your writing, make sure you're not pressing on the magic slates. Okay, use your flat board or something else. Those slates are the surface is a little sensitive. Process writing. And they're also F for formulas. What is F for? Formula. Like you go to the doctor or the chemist, he'll give you a formula to follow. I think Anand Mohan's doing a rigid health program. Is your doctor giving you a formula? Is it precise? To the minute, to the micro. And is he a good doctor? He's expert. Because the more expert they are, the more precise. Right? Everybody agree? If they're really expert, there's no room for maybe if. Right? So a good writer, if he has studied, and he's a good writer as well, he knows the process of writing, and he knows the formula. Now, the lay person, the general person, may have never had process writing in school. I think you have it in school, right? They teach you process writing? 4 stages, perhaps, okay? And they teach you the formulas. Now, a lot of people may never have had that experience in school. So when they're reading, they don't detect, right? Just as if he's going to a doctor, but before that, he didn't know the formula at all. I'm doing this at that time, this much. But now he's becoming not a layperson, he's becoming enlightened. So if you know the formula, when you're reading Prabhupada's purports, what will you be able to do? Detect. You will be able to detect the structure, the formula behind. Do you think Prabhupada knows formula writing? You better believe he does. He studied at a very good school. He's an educated man. Okay, so let us go back. We use codes here when we communicate. In formula writing, you start whatever piece you have. It can be one paragraph, it can be multi-paragraph. It could be either just one paragraph, or it could be MP. What's MP? Multi-paragraph. Now obviously the introduction is which one? Multi-paragraph. It's 48 pages. Right? But the same thing in general will apply. It's just this is bigger. You get the idea? There's more. But the paragraph will pretty much have the same, it's like, what's the term? Microcosm, macrocosm, right? Whatever you need to have for a one paragraph essay or purport, you have to also have those basics in your multi-paragraph. You got that? Everybody following this? Is this too deep or is it okay? Everybody okay so far? Let me know. We have to check for understanding. Here's your code. The most important thing you start with is called GS. Would you write that on your slate? GS? GS is general statement. General statement. When you pick up a book, the first thing you'll see on the book is a title, right? Then you'll see table of contents. But when you start reading the book, you know, it just looks like a lot of text. But you have to break that text down into the formula. So you get immediately the understanding. Those purports won't bewilder you. But the author has to know what he's doing, and he has to be progressive and sequential. So the first code is, he starts with a general statement. Okay? So that's the first thing you look for. And usually it's the first sentence. What is it? Usually it's the first sentence. Not always. Sometimes it's the last sentence. Sometimes it's implied. But 99% of the time, it's the first sentence, especially if the author wants to make sure there's no doubt. Now, Prabhupada never got tricky with his writing. He had a mission. He had to make difficult philosophy simple for the masses. And he did. He did. General statement. The next thing you have to know is TS. Right. Now, this is the term for the first sentence of a multi-paragraph essay, right? Because if it's only a one paragraph, you're going to have a general statement, right? A one paragraph purport. Like in the Gita, there are one paragraph purports. But let's just say there are 3 or 4 or 5. Then you have to have a broader statement. That's called your general statement. You get the difference? All the other paragraphs have to start with a topic sentence. What is TS? Topic sentence. That means all of the, remember how we talked in our 1881? There were 81 topics. Okay? Those are your breakdowns. You get the difference? 1881, your general statement is your Bhagavad Gita and the 5 truths and the 3 parts. But you notice there were 81 topics. Now this introduction, I believe it's been counted, has about 74, 78 paragraphs. So roughly there will be probably a good 74, 78 topic sentences. Everybody understand the point? Okay. Anything difficult so far? Because if you know this, then when you go, you see that's, you say, oh, 48 pages and too much, right? But you don't just start like that. You break it up, and you know where to start, where to look for. Okay, the next thing you need is E. E. E will stand for many synonymous words. It can stand for example. What can it stand for? Example. It can stand for elaboration. You know what elaboration means? To say more. Elaboration. It can stand for evidence. They're pretty synonymous, aren't they? If you're trying to explain something, you have to give an example, you have to give evidence, or you elaborate, you tell more about it. Everybody understand those 3 synonyms? What are the 3? Evidence, example, and elaboration. Very good. Elaboration means, let's just say we had an elaborate feast. An explanation. There's another one. 4. Let's put 4 E's on our slate. E, 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 E. These are synonymous. One would be example. She had a good one, explanation. Another would be elaboration, and another would be evidence. Okay? Let's go over those again. They're synonyms. But this is what you're going to look for when you go into the purport. Examples, explanations, elaboration, and evidence. Can you tell your neighbor those 4 things? Tell your study partners. You two are study partners. You two are study partners. Okay? Is this helpful? I think it'll help her too in school. Because if you can crack the code, suddenly you're zooming through your books. Yeah. Okay. All right, so you know the 4 things you're going to look for after the topic sentence or the general statement, right? Now the next thing you look for at the end, O, opinion. What's O stand for? Opinion. Now, if it's 1 paragraph, there'll be 1 opinion. But if it's multi-paragraph, you'll have perhaps many opinions throughout, right? And at the conclusion, there will be this. F-O. Final opinion. All right, I wrap it all up. This is my final opinion. Now, did you notice in even the Gita Mahatmya, what happens in the 7th sloka? F-O, right? There need be only 1 scripture. There need be only 1 Lord. Only 1 mantra. And 1 duty. Right? Did you see it? And that's how he ended the whole introduction. So he used the final opinion of the Gita Mahatmya to be the final opinion of his introduction. Nice, huh? Very nice. Prabhupada's expert. Expert. Okay. Now there's one other term that doesn't have a code, and it's a little trickier, but it's called thesis. I'll write it out. Thesis statement. Thesis S. A thesis statement is even more complete. If you ever had to be in a university and you've had to go for higher levels of study, like master's degrees, doctorate degrees, they require a thesis, right? It's a very long paper, very long. Many of them have to be published as books even. Some never even finish their doctoral programs because they have such a hard time coming up with a major thesis statement. But the thesis statement in formula writing isn't that. It is a sentence that includes, it's like a summary sentence of everything. It will include the general statement, and it will include, in very brief form, listing the examples that you're going to face. It's sort of like wrap it all up in one. And that thesis statement, in a very structured purport, will be at the beginning, and it will be repeated at the beginning of the end. You get the point? It just sort of sums it up, just like chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, and then chapter 18. You know, they sort of introduce and then wrap it up. So a thesis statement is very big. We're not going to try to worry about trying to track that down. The other ones are sufficient. But sometimes you will see there is a sentence, like Prabhupada can do it. It says everything. It says everything. Topic, examples, conclusion, it's the summary. So you got your codes now? What's GS? And what's TS? And what's E? Right, it's 4 things. And what's O? Opinion. And what's FO? And of course, thesis statement is everything. Everything. All right. Now, equipped with that, we can go into with our pens and our Excel sheets, we can go into our little book, and we're going to get right to work. Today is a workshop day. Normally I try to have these things done for you, and we go through them. It's been a challenging week on all levels. But anyway, Krishna's in control. The last time we met, we concluded, as was requested, with going through the first paragraph. And most of the devotees said it was helpful. Were some of you here for that? Yeah. Okay. In our book, we have the introduction, and it's marked on page 1. So do you all have your little Bhagavad Gita? As it is, introduction. Please turn to page 1. It's right next to the picture of Krishna with the little cow. Are we all ready now? Okay, got your pens and your Excel sheets. You can put your name on your Excel sheet. Today our goal is let's fill it up. This Excel sheet has 8 columns on one side, another 8. You turn it over. If you flip it over, there's another 8 and 8. It has 32 columns. If we break those in half, we get 64. Okay? So what we're going to try to do is use half a column for every paragraph. Okay? Half a column. If I can just hold this up. Let me take Neela's here. You all see this? Right? So I think, maybe we want to do 2 pages, I don't know. But I think it's sufficient. If the first paragraph we write our important points here, and then second paragraph here, and then you just mark paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3. This is a very systematic analysis today. Do you think you're all ready for something this detailed? Yeah. Because actually Prabhupada said, you should know my books until the purports are threadbare. You've studied them so much that threadbare, you've worn something that you like, and you don't want to give it away or throw it. And it's so thin from all the washing and all the wearing. It's threadbare. So he said, you should know my purports so they're threadbare. So today we're diving deep. Everybody ready? Because normally our classes are more interaction. This is different. We'll see how you do. You're the trial run. All right, let us take a look at how Prabhupada begins. Now I will read, and when I stop, you read one word and use your finger. This is interactive reading, so you don't just, relax. You have to be active to learn. Bhagavad Gita is also known as? Now this is our first statement, right? General statement. And it's interesting how he defines it as Upanishad. Everything he does, we're going to talk about why he's doing what he's doing. Now he says it is the essence of Vedic and one of the most important Vedic literature. Now here he's telling us in the second sentence, our first sentence is our general statement. It's known as Gita Upanishad, but also the second sentence is part of his general statement, because he's now identifying that Bhagavad Gita is actually one of the most, important Upanishads. Of course there are many, now he's going to develop. Of course there are many commentaries in English on the Bhagavad Gita, and one may, for another. So now he's going to make you curious. Why one more? This present edition can be explained in the following. Now here we start to get an example. And it's actually what we call almost like an analogy. But this is an example. Why one more? Recently, an American lady asked me to recommend an English translation of Bhagavad Gita. Of course, in America, there are so many editions of available in, but as far as I have Not only in America, but also in India. None of them. How many? None of them. He doesn't say some. He says none. Can be strictly said to be authoritative. Now why? Because in almost every one of them, the commentator has expressed his own opinion. There's the word opinion. Without touching the of Bhagavad Gita as it is. So on our sheets, let's write some words down. Okay, just use half of it, and you can use each little space. Let's pick a word. How about Gita Upanishad? If you want to remember this paragraph, Gita Upanishad would be a key word. So write that word in your first space here. Right, Gita up here, yeah, wherever. And you're just going to fill up half of it. Oh, I'm sorry. Put it in these line spaces. Up here, you might put paragraphs 1 and 2. Yeah, because you're going to, for us to get this thing full, in this top box, you could put paragraphs 1 and 2. Then the next box, you'll write 3 and 4. Everybody follow? Yeah. You have sort of a header box up there. I think we need to put 2 paragraphs for each column, right? Otherwise, we won't get it all on this sheet. So up here, write paragraphs 1 and 2. Across the top, you can write Bhagavad Gita introduction. This is your study sheet. Because if this is done, you can go back and you can just pick up the link words, just the way we do in the Gita Mahatmya. You're putting link words in. That's all, one word. And then you'll be able to summarize this to your study buddy. What's that first paragraph say? You get the point? You will recall the whole thing. If you read it, what happens? You forget. But you look at your link words and you can summarize it. Everybody understand the principle of study? All you need are link words. And then for a test, you can summarize. Test doesn't have time to rewrite the paragraph. It's not practical. Everybody know what to do now? Okay, the header box, the top, you would put paragraph 1 and 2. Okay, so in the first space, I think an important word is Gita Upanishad. So quickly copy that and write this. That's coming from your first statement, your first. And you'll see how Prabhupada develops, because this is what you're going to see how the writer thinks. This is a very important exercise because it will help you think that way. Many famous writers did this and they learned how to write this way. How do the experts do it? That's how I want to do it. Okay. Now, I would say the next key word would be essence. Essence. And then the next key word I would say necessity. What's the necessity for one more? Do you find the word? Okay. Now, I'm not the last word on what's the key word. If you were studying alone, you may choose something else. And you can even question what I do or choose. And you can put something more in. But so far we have Gita Upanishad, essence, and necessity. The next word would be additions. Good girl. When you start thinking, you see most people have a general agreement. Yes, because you see how he's developing his argument. Yes, it triggers the next, it's sequential. I would say the next word is none. You could say present edition. But basically, the key word was, what did we choose? We chose none. There, none of them. And then the next word would be authoritative. So how many words do we have? Have we filled up about half the space? Do you have room, you know? And I think if you wanted to add more, one more, you could put opinions. Opinions. Now, I'm saying it doesn't have to be what I'm saying. I'm saying we're just trying to train you to think. See how Prabhupada writes. You may choose a different word or more or fewer. But you're getting the idea. Everybody clear? Okay. Now, let's go through what we've done so far. So we've got, first one we had what? Gita Upanishads. Then what? Essence. And then what? Okay, and then? An opinion. All right. The key word of the whole paragraph, we thought was authoritative. Right, because Prabhupada's making it clear why this Gita. Okay? Now let's just try something before we go through other things faster. Turn to your study partner and see if you can, in your own words, explain what this, just summarize this, okay? Try it. In other words, you now are able to speak. You're able to lecture. You agree, Shama? Okay, go ahead. Brahmani over there, okay? Does this help you now? You see how people who speak regularly, this is how they would have to study. You all agree? That if you're going to speak on the Bhagavad Gita, this is how you know what's in the purport? You have the main points, and you can paraphrase them. Do you all agree? You were able to explain it. Okay? Because if you have to explain the book to somebody or even ask to lecture, how do these people like, what's his name, Hari Ram? He's tonight, right? They go on, and how do they do it? Well, he's special. But they know the purpose, they know the points. And they've pulled out the essence. And it just flows. They know what they're, right, it triggers it, right. Just a few points. And if they're good speakers, they'll point them out before so the audience follows. But now you know how to follow in your book, right? Did this help you? Yes. Yes. All right, now let's go to the next one. There's an important link word from paragraph 1 to 2. Who thinks he can figure out what the link word is? What's the word that links paragraph 1 with paragraph 2. Spirit, very good. Do you see it in the last sentence of paragraph 1? Without touching the spirit of Bhagavad Gita as it is. Now, Prabhupada ends with one word, and what does he do with it? He takes that as the beginning of the next paragraph. Okay, follow along and read when I stop. The spirit, now this is your TS. What's your TS? See if this is your topic sentence. This is called the main idea. The spirit of Bhagavad Gita is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. So what we're going to hear about here, the spirit. Now he gives an analogy. You know what an analogy is? It's a comparison. Let's see what it is. It is just like this. If we want to take a particular, then we have to follow the written on the, right, just like Anand Mohan. He's going to a man. If he's spending the money for the medicine, he's going to do what? Follow the recipe. We cannot, so our first example is he's setting up an analogy. If you want to take medicine, what do? Follow the directions on the label. Otherwise, you could kill yourself. Too much, too little. We cannot take the medicine according to our own or the directions of a... Yeah, your friend said, oh, you can do it this way. It's people do that with medicine. They'll come and tell you something and they'll tell you the wrong thing and you may die. Don't listen to your friend, you better listen to the label. It must be taken according to the directions on the, or the directions given by a, yeah, not just your friend. Now, similarly, now he's comparing. Similarly, now we're going to compare it to how do we take the Bhagavad Gita. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita should be taken or as it is directed by the himself. Does that make sense? Not some commentator. The speaker of Bhagavad Gita is? Okay. He is mentioned on every of the, as the Supreme Personality of Bhagavan. Now he's going to take you one further step. Because here first he's, now notice how he's moving you fast. First you better take the Gita like medicine. Do what the speaker said. Who's the speaker? Krishna. And he says he's who? Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that is what's the word? Bhagavan. So now he's moving very fast. Take it seriously. Do what the speaker said. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he's known as Bhagavan on every page. Any doubt? Yet some people come up with another answer. Of course, the word sometimes refers to any powerful person or any powerful, and certainly here Bhagavan designates Lord as a great, but at the same time we should know that Lord Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he's doing a lot here. He's telling you, we should know, he's not just Bhagavan. And yes, Bhagavan could be another person, important person. But he said, we should know here that he is who? Supreme Personality of Godhead. And what's his evidence? As is confirmed by all great acharyas, spiritual master, like Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Nimbarka Swami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and many other authorities of Vedic knowledge in India. So what has Prabhupada done? He's given you an analogy, he's given you identity of Krishna as God, and he's given you the evidence. Because some people will say, how do we know? But these are all historical persons, right? Nimbarka, Chaitanya, Ramanuja. If they say he's God, that's authoritative. You understand what Prabhupada has done? Right away, he defines who's God, and he gives evidence. The Lord himself also establishes himself as the personality of Godhead in the Bhagavad Gita, and he is accepted as such in the Brahma Samhita and all the, especially the Srimad, known as the Bhagavad. Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. And he even gives more authoritative reference. You see how he builds his case. One paragraph. Therefore, what's this sentence? What's opinion? Therefore, we should take Bhagavad Gita as directed by the personality of Godhead himself. Now, did you see how he did this paragraph? Do you agree it's brilliant? He talks about spirit. Spirit means I follow the directions. He gives an analogy, right? He compares it to following the orders of the Lord. He proves that Krishna is God, right? He gives authoritative reference not only by people, but by scripture. And therefore, we go back to the first sentence, and it says, we should take it as being directed by whom? Krishna himself. Did you see how he goes back to the topic? Everybody follow that? Is this not expert? I mean, you really have to learn to see the genius of how Prabhupada, because every good writer knows this, pretty much does it, but Prabhupada's just amazing, because he covers so much in one paragraph. Spirit, following the Gita, Krishna's God, I'm giving you evidence from Shastra, I'm giving you evidence from authority, and therefore go back to your analogy, follow the directions as given by the speaker himself. Okay, let's put some keywords down. I think the first one is spirit. You can disagree or put something else, but, you know, I think most of you follow the thinking. I think the next key word would be medicine, because Bhagavad Gita is what? Medicine, right? It's our medicine. I think maybe the next key word would be directions. Following the, like medicine, Gita, following the directions. The next key word would be Lord Sri Krishna. Then Bhagavan. And here he just differentiates the general understanding of Bhagavan and the specific understanding in reference to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because other people are often called Bhagavan. But in the Gita and on every page, the word Bhagavan. And then he gives evidence. He gives evidence. He gives evidence as confirmed by acharyas. So right, acharyas. Yes, he lists many. These are, if people doubt, how do you know Krishna is God? He may be just saying that. Because in India you get a lot of people that say that. I'm God. So he's just another one of them. But these are historical personalities who are considered acharyas. There's evidence historically these people existed. Who do they say God is? Krishna. All right? What other evidence does he give? Puranas, scriptural. Right, he gives scriptural evidence. Brahma Samhita. If you have room, you could write those. Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? Right, and the final point is, therefore, right, our final point is the Gita should be taken or accepted, just like medicine, as directed. Directed, yes. Directed is a good word. Okay, now this is a little bit time consuming, but the most important thing is when we get started, you understand how to think it through. I really genuinely want to know, do you feel this is helping you when you read? Because if you mentally do this, you don't have to sit and write it all out every time. But if you mentally, just as you're reading, check the first sentence, look for the development, the examples, the elaboration, look for the final opinion, pick out some key words, say them at least. If you can write them, great. You will pretty much have a paraphrase, a mental paraphrase, a mental summary of what Prabhupada said. Otherwise, reading produces 10% result. That's it. How much? 10%. That's almost nothing. Now, do you feel after you've done these two, you could paraphrase this one also? Right, you could say the spirit of Bhagavad Gita is like medicine. It's to be taken by the speaker himself, Lord Sri Krishna, who's Bhagavan, not just a great personality, as proven by the acharyas, as scriptures. Therefore, we should follow it as directed by the speaker himself. Do you see it? You rephrase the whole thing. If you just read it, you might not be able to do that. You all agree? Okay, let's see what the next one is, and let's see if we can move a little faster now. Okay, because you've got the principle. Now in the next one, we have a Shastri quote. That's all. We have chapter 4, 1 through 3. So we go to the next column and we put paragraphs 3 and 4. So paragraph 3 refers to, let's put Gita 4.1-3. Here we have evidence, scriptural evidence. And the whole thing is the famous shloka of the speaking to Vivaswan and the Parampara. So we will put a few of the key words here in Sanskrit. We can put Vivas Bhate. And Ikshvake. Ikshvakave, I'm sorry. Right, second line, you can see. Well, just because the Sanskrit has not been translated here. Yeah, Vivaswan, first to Vivaswan, and then to the Manus, and then Ishvaku. And then the word Parampara. And then spoken to Rajar Shayo, very important. It was spoken to the kings. It was the kings who passed it on. They had the intellect and the responsibility. It was the kings who passed on the parampara. Okay? And then here, he's now passing it on to Arjuna, his bhakto. Because he has to reestablish the parampara. Okay? So this is the history of the Gita. The third paragraph. These three slokas. Right, he spoke it to Vivaswan, right, and then it's passed down, and then it's passed down through the parampara, through the Rajarshis, right? And now he has to reestablish it through Arjuna, because Arjuna is his close friend. And, right, reestablish it. Because it was broken, it was lost. Okay? All right, now in paragraph 4. Topic sentence. Read when I stop. Here the Lord informs Arjuna of this system of the Bhagavad Gita was first spoken to thee, and the sun god explained it to, and Manu explained it to, and in that way by one speaker after another, the yoga system has been coming. So here he's translating in a paragraph that verse. But in the course of, it has become, consequently, the Lord has to speak it, this time too, on the battlefield of. So now in a simple format, Prabhupada has explained the Sanskrit rather than word by word, so the general reader understands the parampara and what is the need for speaking the Gita to Arjuna. So let's write for paragraph 4. The key word would be perhaps system. System. This is the system of doing it. System. Keyword. This is your first topic sentence. System. Then we'll name sun god, Manu, Ikshvaku, and then the next word would be disciplic. That this is how it comes down from one disciple to another. Then the next word would be lost. And the next word would be Arjuna. Now do you see how in a very simple way, Prabhupada for the general reader has now moved into how the Gita is history, how it must come down through a parampara, and why are we speaking it on a battlefield? Because it's been lost. And he's going to speak it to Arjuna on a battlefield. This is the reason for this Gita, and to whom it is spoken, and why. Why Arjuna? Everybody follow that one? Okay. Now we're ready for your next column. Let's go 5 and 6. The fans, and I don't hear well to start with. I'm sorry. Yeah, if there's an indentation, the way to note a paragraph is by indentation. Well, this is, here.
The explanation, the words will be the same. The keywords will be the same.
Oh, the key would go the same as number this one? You mean number 3?
3 and 4.
Let's make it a break though, okay? That's true, actually. An indentation here would probably be more of this one, but this is actually establishing the parampara system. This is establishing...
No, this one says that we consider fourth, third paragraph, these two verses, and the fourth one is the explanation of these verses. Can it be considered as one paragraph? Because the keywords will be all the same.
The keywords are all the same. Oh, well, he indented, at least here. Because it's an indented, I'm making it another one. Because maybe my translation is different from yours. This one, is it the same? Here it starts again in the 4th chapter. Okay? Now here I have a new paragraph. Maybe yours is different. Mine starts as a new chapter, new paragraph, okay? Check that one. Because wherever you have an indentation, you have a new paragraph. Perhaps some of the translations are different. Huh?
The
Still another one. But this is general okay. Everybody okay with this? Okay? But generally, an indentation means new paragraph. I think our indentations are falling in a different place, okay? Everybody clear on that? She had a question. Okay, are we ready for the next one? Okay, here we go. Remember, general statement, topic sentence. Now, another topic sentence. This is a really long one. He tells Arjuna that he is relating this Supreme to him because is his and his. This is a general statement. What is Arjuna? Is his devotee and his friend. Now, we're going to try to move a little faster. I'm just going to pick up some keywords really fast. The purport of this Bhagavad Gita is a treatise, which is especially meant for the devotee of the Lord. This is very important. It's really meant for the devotee. There are three classes of, namely the, and the, or the impersonalist, the meditator and the devotee. Now he identifies those terms. Here the Lord clearly tells Arjuna that he is making him the first receiver of a new disciplic succession, because the old succession was, it was the Lord's wish therefore to establish another in the same line of that was coming down from the sun god to others, and it was his that his teaching be distributed anew by. He wanted Arjuna to become the, in understanding the. So we see that Bhagavad Gita is instructed to Arjuna especially because was a very important. You have to be a devotee to understand Gita. A direct student of, and his intimate. Therefore Bhagavad Gita, now no, he's repeating. Therefore, this is an opinion in the middle. Bhagavad Gita is best understood by a person who has similar to, that means what do you be? What do you have to be? A devotee and a, yeah, you can't be his enemy. That is to say, one must be in a direct with a, as soon as one becomes a devotee of the Lord, he also has a relationship with thee. Now he's moving into something else. First you have to be a devotee and a friend like Arjuna. But now the minute you become a devotee, guess what? You have a direct relationship with Krishna. That is a very, oh, here's our E word. What's it? Elaborate. It's like elaborate. Subject matter. But briefly, it can be stated that a devotee is in a relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in one of five, let me get the page turned, different ways. Now here we all know them, but notice how Prabhupada made it simple. For the new person who's never heard of Krishna consciousness, you can be in a what kind of a state? Passive or lover. Did you see how much he said in that paragraph? Okay, let's put the keywords down really fast. This is paragraph number 5. So the first one we will say secret. And then we would put transcendentalists. You can put the number 3 transcendentalists. And there's a lot of facts here, but I think we have to squeeze something. So let's put authority. Arjuna is becoming the next authority. And the next word would be devotee and friend. Separate. And the next word would be understood. How can one understand the Gita? And what's the secret? You have to be a devotee and a friend. And the next word would be relationship. And if you have room, you could put 5. And you could write the words either together or separately: passive, active, friend, parent, lover. And that's paragraph 5. A lot has moved you right away into our philosophy, right? The 5 rasas. Prabhupada moves people fast into the philosophy. He tells you in this paragraph there are 3 transcendentalists. You have to be a devotee and a friend to understand Krishna, the Gita. And the minute you become a devotee, you enter into 1 of 5 relationships. That's pretty fast. Does that help you understand this paragraph, okay? See how our time is going? We're going to do 1 more paragraph. Our time is almost up. Arjuna was in a relationship with the Lord as a... Now this is our what topic sentence? Simple. This is going to be Arjuna and his relationship with the Lord as a friend. Of course, there is a gulf of difference between the friendship, between this friendship and the friendship found in the material world. This is a transcendental which cannot be had by... Of course, everyone has a particular relationship with thee, and that relationship is by the perfection of... So how do we revive our relationship? By the perfection of devotional service. Because any one of us sitting here right now most likely does not know his Swarup. Maybe somebody does here, but it's nothing you advertise. But probably most of us are not on that stage of perfection, but we're trying to be. You understand? And that is the way you, by perfection of devotional service, is how you find out who you are. All of you here are 1 of those 5. Probably Madhurya, Lord Chaitanya's line, is very much that. Also very much friendship, Nityananda, some parental. Okay. Of course, okay, that's a book. But in the present status of our life, here's an important point. Not only have we the Supreme Lord, but we have our eternal relationship with thee. So that's our forgotten stage. Every living being out of the many, many billions and trillions of living has a particular relationship with the Lord. That is called Swarup. By the process of devotional service, one can that, and that stage is called... Now this is really advanced. He's moving really fast into Swarup City. You see how quickly Prabhupada goes. Perfection of one's constitutional... So Arjuna was and he was in touch with the Supreme Lord in... Now notice how he wrapped it up with the first sentence. Right? So let's put those key words down. Your first would be friend. Arjuna's a friend. That's his eternal relationship. I would say the next key word is that everyone has a unique, unlike anybody else's. Everybody here has a particular relationship with Krishna that nobody else can violate. And that's why the material world doesn't work, because other jivas are taking the role that Krishna has by being mother, father, son, friend. It's a temporary imposition between the two. But your real relationship is not a temporary, artificial one. It's your eternal, real one. And we're trying to get back to that. Okay, and the word would be evoked. Evoked. Evoked means to be brought back, or brought about. It's at the end of the everyone, and relationship is evoked. And the next word would be perfection, because until you have perfected your bhakti, you will not know who you are. We are all in the process of reviving it. Do you find it? Evoke. It means that to bring it about. The next word would be forgotten. Because when you forget Krishna, what do you also forget? Who you are. It makes sense. If you're part of him and you forget him, it means automatically you forget yourself. And it means it's explained in the Bhagavatam, if you know who you are, automatically you will see Krishna, because you're part and parcel of him. Does that all make sense to everybody? So the whole point is always remember Krishna, never forget him, because that's the way you'll find out who you are. Otherwise you'll remain in a temporary, illusory misidentification. And the terms next would be, I would say, Swarup, and then Swarup City, and then you have the word perfection again. I think you may want to write the word constitutional. It's critical. Because the jiva it's a constitutional position. It's something that cannot be altered. It's eternal. It's real. It's like America has a constitution. I think England has a Magna Carta. I don't know if India has a charter, but constitution means that, or like you say, what's the constitution of your body? Well, you have 5 material elements. It's what you're made of, and it can't be changed. It's eternal. Okay? So, our time is up. This is a little bit different. I hope not too tedious for you, but I hope, what shall I say, opens up doors for you. Because when you read now, you can keep little charts like this. Okay? Now, I'm going to ask you all to do some homework, if you can. Because I thought this would move faster, but it doesn't. So, I would like to start on chapter 1 of the Bhagavad Gita next time. And we will get into, but I don't want us to forget these points. So I would like next time to have you come and try to fill up your Excel sheets. Can you do it? Okay, you have about 78 paragraphs. And, you don't have to spend too much time. Just click it off. Go through a paragraph, pick a few words. Okay? It doesn't matter. It's a skill. And you will know what is the whole philosophy because it's in that introduction. I think they spent about a week on the introduction in the Bhagavad Gita classes. Did they not? Easily. Okay? So is everybody clear on what to do? How many of you think you can come back And just pick a few words if you have some time to study. How many of you have a little study time? Anybody here? Shama? You're pretty busy. But maybe you can try. Because Mataji, it will change your life. Otherwise, if you just read, you agree? It doesn't happen. And share this with your son. Because this is how you can actually go through a study group. When they go through purports, they usually just will read them together, don't they? But this is different. What's the topic sentence? What's the evidence? What's his opinion? And how does it flow? And then turn around and you can preach it. Do you all agree that right now you can probably say a lot about the first 6 paragraphs? You could probably give a class on the first 6 paragraphs. Seriously, you agree? Yes. All right, so materials have to be returned. Keep your Excel sheets. And for those of you who fill them up, I'm going to put a sticker on them next class. Okay? Sticker star, motivation. This person did some homework. Okay, so I think we're Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripasindhubhyevacha, Patitanam Pavanebho, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. And we don't have our flight attendant here today or the lady who packs the fruit platter.